All right, hello folks. We're going to get started. I'm just going to turn my camera on for a second. If everyone could mute their mics, that would be wonderful. I'm Angela Howe, and I am the ESS Connect lead for our district. So I am here to help everyone, all staff, in navigating the world of ESS Connect. And I'm based out of Miramichi, but I work with all schools in Anglophone North. So today is going to be a really brief presentation on navigating the system, and in particular looking at our PLP adjusted curriculum. But I do just want to put it out there right now, if you ever have any questions on how to navigate this system, please, I'm only an email or a Teams call or a visit away. This is my job, and I'm here to support all staff members. And I know all of you folks have wonderful resource staff at your school as well. But if you do need any extra help at any time, just pop me an email or a Teams message. So I'm going to turn my camera off, and I'm going to share my screen. And I believe this presentation is, well, the presentation is being recorded, but also the PowerPoint will be sent to you as well. So just give me one moment. Okay. And we will start. So today we are going to focus on what ESS Connect is, and we're going to take a look at the section of the personalized learning plan that deals with adjusted curriculum and how to progress report on that. So the first thing is, what is ESS Connect? And we live in a world of acronyms here, so there's no silly questions with acronyms. If you don't understand something, just ask. But ESS stands for Education Support Services. So ESS is anything that's education support services related. It's housed now in this system called ESS Connect. So I started at this job in 2017, believe it or not, working with this new system, and it's just grown and grown and grown and grown. So we started with our personalized learning plans, our PLPs, and now we're housing lots of student documentation, and we have district folks, we have child and youth team members, we have school-based staff. I'm calling it a one-stop shop. We have direct access to information that might not have been available before. And now I'm calling ESS Connect our electronic cumulative file. We're moving that way to making it all electronic, and ESS Connect will house all this documentation. So this is a slide that I have to say in every single presentation. I'm probably preaching to the converted here, but we only use ESS Connect for the students for whom we're doing our job. So if you're looking up something about a student that's not connected to you, that would be a breach. So you just report that to your principal, and Big Brother does watch, like behind the scenes, you can tell who's been into what documentation and so forth. But I have to say that for every presentation. Just know that we keep things very confidential. Now, the first thing we have to make sure, and especially for brand new teachers, if you're really new to the system, sometimes you can't get into ESS Connect. If that happens, just send me an email. It just means you're not in our security group for classroom teachers. So the way you sign into ESS Connect is through your Power Teacher. So you sign into Power Teacher, and there's a little box with an arrow. You click on that, and then there's a link to the ESS Connect homepage. So Power Teacher, Power School, and ESS Connect, they talk to each other. So all the demographic stuff feeds into ESS Connect. This ESS Connect is where we house all our education support services related documents, and then things, for example, the PLP adjusted indicator. If we create a personalized learning plan with adjusted curriculum for a student, that gets fed back over to Power School and is indicated on the report card. So both systems talk to each other. So if you're having trouble signing in, just send me an email. Now, once you do sign in, and I'm going to hop into my training environment. So this is ESS Connect, but a fake site. So it's just fake students, fake teachers. And I'm signed in as Celine Dion. Someone had a very good sense of humor when they created this training environment. So I'm the teacher. When I sign into ESS Connect, my homepage will look, or your homepage will look similar to this one. You're going to have your classes listed here. So the classes you teach, and I will say that you have to be scheduled in PowerSchool in order to see your students. So you should have your classes here. And then you're going to have a few reports that are posted here. We create reports on lots of data in the system, and we try to make reports that might be pertinent to your particular role. So if I wanted to see who had a PLP in the current year, I'd click on the teachers' types of PLPs for current year. And if I click on that, I'll see the students that are in my class who have PLPs. And there's 5 different types of PLPs. There's an accommodated, there's an adjusted curriculum, there's individualized, there's a partial day plan, and then this IBSP is for our individual behavior support plan, so our tier 3 behavior plans. So there's different types of PLPs, and here's where you can check to see if you do have a student who is on a particular PLP. If you're kind of deep into ESS Connect and you don't know how to get out of it, I always say let's just go home. So just click the home button, and it takes you right back to the home page. ESS Connect has a Francophone counterpart called Mon Appui. So we do have students who transfer from the Francophone to the Anglophone school, and their files will transfer with them. Similar if we have students who transfer from district to district in the province of New Brunswick, their files will come through with them too through ESS Connect. So I just wanted to tell you that as well. Now, if you do have a student who you know is on a PLP, and here I'm teaching English Language Arts grade 7, I can click on my classes, and this has a list of all my students in my class. I only have a few here, but you'll probably have a few more. So every student is in ESS Connect, and that brings me to the point that ESS Connect is not just for students who are on personalized learning plans. For example, my son saw a speech language pathologist, and that documentation, his intervention plan for the speech language pathologist, is housed in ESS Connect for him. So it's not just students on PLPs. But for you folks, and for this training purpose, I'm going to use Leah. And a little clue here too is that if there's an education support teacher listed here, you know they're connected to someone in the resource department. So it's just a little clue to you as well, is that if there's a name here, that means that something's going on resource-wise for the student. So I'm going to use Leah. So if Leah is a student in my class who is on a PLP, I just hover over this arrow here, and the 2 icons are always beside every student. Okay, if I hover over, so if I hover over Leah, she has a profile, which is all the demographic stuff for the student. So the parents' names, Leah's birth date, her address, her most current phone number, and that stuff feeds over from PowerSchool. But what we're particularly interested in is Leah's documents. So I'm going to click on her documents. And here, our training environment's not updated for this current school year. So let's pretend the current school year is 2022-2023. Documents are housed by school year, and the most recent document that was created is on the top. So Leah had documents from 2021-2022, for example. I can expand it. And she has documents from 2022-2023. And as a classroom teacher, you can see all the documentation that's listed. So if you needed to do a file review, if you had some concerns about a student in your class, you can kind of dig and open up the documentation that's in per school year for the student. So I just wanted to show you that as well. In my PowerPoint, I also talk about the types of documents that you could see, and there's tons now. So you definitely can see the personalized learning plan. There's a short-term intervention plan. If a student needs a little intervention, that'll be listed in there with their goals and objectives. If a case conference has been held for a student, the meeting notes are listed here. Any requests for services for the student that's brought to your ESS team at their school is listed here. There's needs assessments to help a student become more independent in the classroom. That would be there. There's a decision rubric for putting a student on an adjusted curriculum plan. If you have newcomers in your classroom, they may be on a newcomer support and transition plan. If you have district staff coming in to do an observation, their recommendations and strategies are in a consultation report. There's a transition plan, there's stuff about assistive technology, and then there's other file folders that, for example, there's an assessments file folder where we can house any types of assessments that a student might have. So there's tons and tons and tons of information now that we can house in ESS Connect, but for today, we're just going to focus on the personalized learning plan section of it. So back to my training environment. If I go to Leah, and I'm Leah's classroom teacher, here's her documentation that she has in her file, but I'm going to look at the personalized learning plan. Now, your resource teacher, the EST resource at your school, they are going to be setting up the PLP for each student. So you don't have to worry about the setup. They set it up for you. And then the EST resource will work collaboratively with you on specific sections of the plan. So when I click on, as a classroom teacher, the personalized learning plan, it pops up like this. And there's different sections to the plan. And to look at the different sections, if I go up to where it says student information, there's a little diagonal arrow right beside student information. If I hover over that arrow, then more sections will appear. So if I hover over student information, ta-da, there's all the sections of Leah's PLP that you can flip through. Now, as a classroom teacher, you can view all the sections, but you have the ability to edit the adjusted curriculum piece and the progress reporting and to sign the plan as well. So the student information is just a demographic piece of the plan. So it just has the associated teachers and who's involved with the student. I really emphasize this section, the justification summary section, because this is the place where the resource teacher will put in why the student is on a plan. It has to be justified as to why a student is on a PLP. And these are legal documents, and we have to adhere to what's being written in the plan. So they definitely have to be justifiable. So if I click on the justification summary, you'll see lots of things. For example, if there's a diagnosis, if there's any pertinent medical information, if there's any assessments that support why the student's on the plan, the student's strengths, challenges, and interests, and any current services involved. So you're able to browse that. And then this next section is just what types of personalized learning plans a student is on. And for Leah, I had said there were 5 different types of PLPs. Leah's on 2. She's on an accommodated plan and she's on an adjusted plan. So back to my PowerPoint. What is an accommodated plan? So as a classroom teacher, if I'm having concerns about a student academically or behaviorally or social emotionally, I would start first with what we call universal accommodations, which is just a checklist, and it's good teaching strategies that we could use for all students in our classroom. And if you would like a copy of that universal accommodations checklist, just send me an email, and I'm gladly willing to send you a list of that. But that stuff can be uploaded in ESS Connect, but the universal accommodations are not written in a PLP. The PLP accommodated is for justified accommodations. So what does the student need to have in order to access all of the curricular outcomes, but it's specific to that student? So strategies, technologies, or adjustments documented within a PLP without which the student would not be able to access the curriculum. So an accommodated plan is where the student is still able to reach all of their learning outcomes, but they just do it in a different way. So I use the example if a student is blind or visually impaired, they may need Braille. to access their curriculum, for example. That's a justified accommodation. It has to be justified. We have to document it in the justification summary. And all teachers must follow these accommodations in order to help the student achieve all of their curricular outcomes in their class. So I always use the analogy, let's say I'm here in Miramichi and we're going to take a trip to Moncton. I might take the bus, someone else might take a car, and someone else might hitchhike. We're all going to get there, but we're all doing it in a different way. So that's what I think of when I think of a justified accommodation. So I do have, I think, yeah. Here's just a little list of what you would see in ESS Connect, make it a little bigger, as far as justified accommodations. And it's not a menu. We have to make sure everything is justified for the particular student. And that's where the resource teacher will be sharing this with you. But as a classroom teacher, whatever's checked off here should be implemented in your classroom. So if I go back to Leah, and I go to her accommodated section, here are the accommodations that are pertinent to her, the justified accommodations. Okay, so that's usually our first step, is an accommodated plan. And let's say we work through that, we've collected our data, and we thought, you know what, maybe more has to be done for Leah. Oh, I went too far. So then we take a look at our adjusted curriculum. So this is the piece where the classroom teacher comes in, because you have a huge role to play with the adjusted curriculum. A course is adjusted when grade level curricular outcomes of a subject have been altered, deleted, or added in order to address the specific needs of that student. The integrity and general intent of the course is maintained, while the comprehension depth of the outcome has been altered or deleted. So what we do, and I always say this as well, we're not adjusting the student, we're adjusting the curriculum, or we're adjusting the course. We're not adjusting the student. So way back in the day, we used to have what we call the modified or modifications to for a student, but the student would be modified in art and gym and science and social studies and English and math. It would just be kind of across the board. But now we've tweaked the definition of adjusted curriculum, and we've tweaked the format in ESS Connect. So we're really looking at the grade level curricular outcomes and seeing where the student's at, looking at the outcomes and seeing if we can keep them. Maybe the student can do certain curricular outcomes. Do we delete some of them? And do we change some others to help tailor it to the student? So that's the definition of an adjusted curriculum. And classroom teachers have a key role in that. That being said, making the decision to adjust curriculum, it should never be made by one person, by one teacher. It's a team decision that should include everyone, including the student's family, our ESST. The choice to adjust a student's curriculum, it does have ramifications on post-secondary options, so we have to just make sure we're treading lightly with this. And we do have a decision rubric in ESS Connect that can help guide the team to consider, have we done all of the things before we jump to an adjusted curriculum. So it is a weighty decision. And we would do this collaboratively with your ESST. So what do we talk about when we talk about adjusted curriculum? We dig into the curricular outcomes of your course at that grade level. So if the student is in grade 7, we look at that grade 7 curriculum. Okay, so Leah in the training environment is going to be adjusted in English and adjusted in math. And we always drill down to the specific curricular outcomes, the SEOs. And now if you're a school that has adopted the holistic curriculum, instead of GCOs, we talk about big ideas, and instead of SEOs, we talk about skill descriptors. It's the same thing. We drill down to the SEO or the skill descriptor to see if we're going to keep, delete, or change those ones. All right, so let's jump into the adjusted curriculum for Leah. So your resource teacher will have this set up for you. And one thing, if you don't remember anything of my presentation, one thing that's so important if you're going into ESS Connect and you're going to be adjusting your curriculum, if the student is adjusted in more than one course, make sure you're in the right course, because here, like I said, Leah's adjusted in English and in math. So here's her English. And let's say I'm the math teacher, I have to go to math, because if you start going into English and editing this section and typing over the English teacher stuff, I can't get that back for you. All right, so just make sure you're in the correct course. If you put them in the wrong courses, let's say you put math and English and math, we can copy and paste and get that all fixed up. But if you start writing over someone's stuff, I can't get that back. So just make sure, just a little tip, that when you're getting into the adjusted curricular section, that you pick your correct course that you're working on. So here's an example of an English language arts curriculum that's already set up. I'm going to do the math for you to show you, to demonstrate it. But it always starts with a present level of performance. So really take the time, do your performative assessments, show where Leah is at right now and what she can do. And that lays the foundation of your adjusted curricular section. Okay, or your plan. So you always start with the present level of performance, or PLOP we call it, and then we pull in all the different types of learning outcomes. And I always say we do this per reporting period. So look at the curricular outcomes that you're covering for your entire class and pull those in, and then decide whether you're going to keep, delete, or change those outcomes. All right, so just look at what you're covering for this reporting period, pull in those outcomes, and then tweak it to Leah. So this is an example of a nicely balanced adjusted curriculum where there's changed, kept, and deleted outcomes. So if I was Leah's math teacher, I would go to math. I'm in edit mode here. Anything that's pink, that's a mandatory field. I have to put something in. So I started and I did Leah's present level of performance for her grade 7 math. If you ever see a red read button, you just hover over it and there's just some more information, like what should you be putting in the present level of performance text box. So that's there. And then here's where you start to pull in your curricular outcomes. Okay, so what I'm going to demonstrate for you is how to do that. The first thing you would do is you'd pick select from Anglophone outcomes. So you click this button and they are asking, well, what curriculum are you going to use? So I'm going to go to grade 7. Leah's in grade 7. I'm going to use grade 7. So I go to grade 7. I go to the math course. You'll see here we had to add the holistic. So if you're working with the holistic curriculum this year, this is what you're going to use. If you're not a school that's using holistic, you just go to the regular one here. Next year, this will all be merged. So I'm going to click on math. And then I just drill down until I can't drill down anymore to get to my SCOs, or my skill descriptors if I'm doing holistic. So here's my strand number. I just keep hitting these arrows until I get to SEOs. And here's all the SEOs for number. And for my class, I'm focusing for this reporting period on, let's say, N1, N2, and N3. So I just start clicking N1, N2, N3. And you see there's stuff happening in the background there. And then I can just go to my next strand. Here's patterns and relations. Let's say I'm going to get into that one, and I'm going to do PR1 for this reporting period. So I click that. And let's just do one more for fun. I'm going to shape and space, and I just keep drilling until I can't, there's no more arrows. And let's say I'm doing SS1 and SS2. So that's what I'm covering for my, my reporting period for the class. So now this is all populating in the background when I click them. So I'm just going to scroll up. I'll scroll over too so you can see. So it populated it all for me. Now I drill down to my SEOs and it's saying, okay, am I going to keep, delete, or change this SEO? So maybe Leah's a student that she won't be able to do all of these numbers divisible by these numbers, but maybe she can do 2 and 3. All right, so I'm going to change this outcome. So I click change, and here is where I would describe the changed outcome in smart language, meaning it's specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. So I can say by November 2023, Leah will determine and explain why a number is divisible by 2 and 3 with, let's say, 80% accuracy. So I wrote it in smart language. All right, and this is what we're going to report on for Leah for this particular outcome. I tailored it to her. Let's say I look at this one and maybe we're not going to get there with her, so I'm going to delete that outcome. And then I look at this one, solve problems involving percentages from, okay, so maybe she can do from 1 to 10, for example. So I'll change that one and write that one in smart language. So I'll just put changed outcome. Language. And then I keep going. I look at this SEO and I say, you know what, she can do that one. So I'm going to click keep, and then I just keep going. I'm going to change this one. I'm going to change this one. So I'll just put changed and changed. All right, so you can work collaboratively, can't talk today, collaboratively with your resource teacher on developing these changed outcomes. There should be a balance, like I said. If you have a student where you're just going delete, 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 that may be a further conversation where maybe the student needs to be individualized and not adjusted, where individualized means they're working on functional skills that's not connected to the New Brunswick curriculum. Or the other side, if you have a student where you're going keep, that's not a case for having an adjusted plan because they're following all the outcomes just like their peers in their classroom. So you can work with a resource teacher on this, but like I said, if you ever have any questions, just let me know. I'm more than willing to. I'm not the expert on curriculum. I'm a high school math teacher by trade, but I can definitely work through the process with you, and you can brainstorm with me, and I can ask questions to other schools and what they're doing with their curriculum for sure. When you're done with your section, you just hit Save Done Editing. If you're still working on it and you still want to be in edit mode, you just you click Save Continue Editing. So I'm just going to hit Save Done Editing just to show you. Now I'm out of edit mode. Let's say I look at my stuff and went, oh shoot, I forgot to add something. I just hit Edit this section and I'm back in edit mode, and then I hit Save and I'm back in view mode. So I completed my section in math for Leah. I got my little check mark too. In education, we like being positively reinforced, so we get check marks. So I have a check mark by my adjusted curriculum, which is awesome. Now let's just fast forward to report card time for Leah. So anything that's kept, obviously you would just evaluate like you would do with all of your students in your classroom. But for the changed outcomes, you just go to the progress reporting section here, and all of the changed outcomes will be populated here. So here's the one that I wrote, and you can progress report till you're blue in the face, but you definitely have to progress report at report card time. So you just click the calendar, and I'm not sure when report cards are due, but let's say the 23rd, and then you put met, not met, or not yet evaluated, and then a little comment. So if she met it, awesome. You can write a little comment. If it's not met or not yet evaluated, you can just write what the next steps are. And then for the next reporting period, your resource teacher will revise the PLP, and you can just pull in the next set of curricular outcomes, and you can do the keep, delete, and changed again for it. But this is what will be printed out and sent home alongside the report card for Leah. So that's how we evaluate our students on adjusted plans. Okay. So that's how you do a PLP adjusted curriculum. I quickly showed you that. The last thing you have to do is you have to sign your PLP. And pretty soon in our district, our PLPs are due, the signatures are due by October 31st. So I'm sure you'll have the resource teacher knocking at your door, just making sure that everything's all good to go and that you've signed your plan. So you just go to the signatures, you click edit this section. Your name will populate here if you're adjusting the student, and you just click sign, and you might have to type in your role, and then you date it when you've signed the plan. And then you click save, and the plan will also go home with the student, and the parent will sign, and the resource teacher will keep a copy in the file for that for the student as well. All right, and for teachers, you have to sign the adjusted curricular plans, the PLPs. The resource teachers will sign the simply accommodated PLPs for the student. But if it's an adjusted curriculum, you do sign. And then you hit save, and you're good to go. So, oh, hi, Amber. We're almost done. So, hi. The last thing I just wanted to share with you is we do have a support site. So if you can't get a hold of me, like I said, I'm just an email away. But if you want some job aids, or which are step-by-step guides, or some videos on certain sections of ESS Connect, there's a link here to our support site, and you just go to your role and select teacher, and there's tons and tons of information on how to do each section of the personalized learning plan and other documents in ESS Connect. So I just wanted to show you that as well. And it's 4:16.
Angela, so, thank you so much.
Not a problem.
Great. Perfect. 4:16. That's great. I'm so excited to see so many teachers from the north on this call.
You guys
win for the number of participants. Yay, North.
Yay, North.
Yeah, and Angela, I just before you go, thank you so much for this and for your time. I know the teachers are appreciative, but we're also looking at having an ESS Connect check in with these teachers the week that they're starting to write the report cards. So
awesome.
We'll be in touch with you about that.
Perfect. No, and I'm just an email away, like I said. So if you need any help, let me know. And is this PowerPoint going to be sent to them, Amber?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I will. It was recorded when you started. It said it was recorded, correct?
Yes, it did. Yep.
Yeah. So we've got it, and I'm going to send it all out to them a little bit later on tonight when I have time to sit down and shuffle it all over.
Wonderful. All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you, everybody, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you. I'll stay on the call in case anybody has questions, but thank you so much, everybody. Have a great week.
Thank you.
Looks like that's everybody, Angela. Thanks again so much for your time.
Anytime. Thank you, Amber.
Okay, take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.